Rick Brunson's emotional sideline confrontation highlights tense NBA Finals battle between Knicks and Spurs. The first two games of the 2026 NBA Finals have featured everything basketball fans could ask for: superstar performances, clutch shots, controversial officiating, dramatic momentum swings, and now, an emotional confrontation involving one of the most unexpected figures in the series. For most of Game 2, the focus remained where it belonged, on the players battling for the NBA championship. But midway through the fourth quarter, emotions boiled over and transformed a fiercely competitive contest into something much more personal. At the center of the storm stood Rick Brunson. The longtime NBA veteran, current New York Knicks assistant coach, and father of Knicks superstar Jalen Brunson found himself in the spotlight after an intense exchange with San Antonio Spurs guard De'Aaron Fox during one of the most heated moments of the finals. What began as a physical battle between Fox and Jalen Brunson quickly escalated into a full-scale confrontation that briefly involved players, coaches, officials, and both benches. By the time order was restored, the incident had become one of the defining images of the series. And perhaps more importantly, it symbolized the growing hostility between two teams fighting for basketball's ultimate prize. Tensions reach a breaking point. The confrontation occurred with 9:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. At that moment, the Knicks held a narrow 87-80 lead, but the game felt far closer than the scoreboard suggested. Every possession carried enormous significance. Every whistle generated debate. Every defensive stop felt like a playoff victory on its own. Throughout the game, De'Aaron Fox had been applying relentless pressure on Jalen Brunson. The Spurs guard shadowed him aggressively, challenging every dribble, every drive, and every attempt to create offense. The physical nature of the matchup intensified possession after possession until it finally reached a breaking point. Following a foul call against Fox, the two stars remained face to face. Neither backed down. Neither looked away. The stare down lasted only seconds, but it was enough to ignite the already volatile atmosphere. Players from both teams immediately rushed toward the scene. Within moments, what started as a disagreement between two competitors evolved into a crowded confrontation involving nearly everyone on the floor. Officials scrambled to separate players. Coaches stood from their seats. The crowd erupted. And then something unexpected happened. Rick Brunson steps in. While most assistant coaches remained near their benches, Rick Brunson took matters into his own hands. Television cameras captured him walking the length of the court, passing the Knicks bench and moving directly toward the Spurs sideline. Observers were stunned. It is rare enough to see an assistant coach become involved in an on-court confrontation during the NBA Finals. It is even rarer when that coach is the father of one of the players involved. Yet Brunson continued walking until he stood directly in front of Fox. According to social media users who attempted to lip-read the interaction, Brunson appeared to challenge Fox with a blunt message. "You ain't tough. Don't do that." Whether those exact words were spoken remains open to interpretation, but there was little doubt about the emotion behind the exchange. The usually composed assistant coach was clearly defending his son. The moment immediately became one of the most talked about sequences of the night. Broadcasters react to the unusual scene. The ABC broadcast team quickly recognized the significance of what was unfolding. Former NBA forward Richard Jefferson was among the first to question how the officials planned to handle the situation. "Where are the technicals now?" Jefferson asked during the broadcast. His concern centered on consistency. Throughout the playoffs, players had received technical fouls for far less confrontational behavior. Yet here was a situation involving players, coaches, and bench personnel converging near midcourt during the NBA Finals. Tim Legler provided viewers additional context. Rick Brunson, obviously Jalen's daddy, went down the other end, Legler explained. Meanwhile, Spurs head coach Mike Brown appeared visibly frustrated by the officials' handling of the situation. Brown believed Fox deserved stronger protection from the referees and questioned why no technical foul had been assessed. Jefferson echoed those concerns. "If things are going to warrant technicals, you want to make sure it stays even," he said. Veteran broadcaster Mike Breen summarized the atmosphere perfectly. "We are seeing finals tenacity here in Game 2. That description captured the essence of the moment. This wasn't merely frustration. This was championship pressure. Every possession mattered. Every call mattered. Every perceived slight mattered. And the emotions reflected that reality." Tony Brothers restores order. As tensions continued rising, veteran referee Tony Brothers stepped in. Brothers physically separated individuals involved in the confrontation and directed everyone back toward their respective benches. The officials ultimately chose restraint. No technical fouls were issued. No players were ejected. No coaches were penalized. Instead, everyone received warnings before play resumed. The decision immediately sparked debate among fans and analysts. Some believed the officials handled the situation correctly by preventing unnecessary escalations. Others argued that allowing coaches and players to engage in such confrontations without punishment created a dangerous precedent. Regardless of which side one favored, the incident clearly reflected the intensity of the series. These were no longer two teams simply playing basketball. They were two teams emotionally invested in every moment. The growing importance of Rick Brunson. Ironically, this was not the first time Rick Brunson had become a significant storyline during the NBA Finals. In fact, one could argue that he has been one of New York's most influential figures throughout the series. His connection to the Knicks extends far beyond being Jalen Brunson's father. As an assistant coach, Rick has become a trusted voice within the organization and a stabilizing presence during pressure-filled moments. That influence was already evident in Game 1. During New York's comeback victory, another emotional sideline incident threatened to derail the team. Frustration with officiating had reached a boiling point. Players and coaches were openly arguing with referees. Momentum appeared to be slipping away. According to reports after the game, Rick Brunson delivered a direct message to the Knicks bench. He told everyone to "shut the hell up." The blunt instruction immediately changed the team's focus. Rather than continuing to argue calls, New York returned its attention to basketball. The result was a remarkable comeback. The Knicks erased a double-digit deficit and secured a crucial 105-95 victory to open the finals. Head coach Mike Brown later acknowledged Rick Brunson's role in helping the team regain composure. That made Game 2 particularly ironic. The same individual who had preached emotional control in Game 1 found himself at the center of the finals' biggest confrontation one game later. Officiating becomes a major storyline. While the Fox-Brunson confrontation generated headlines, it represented only one chapter in a night filled with controversy. Throughout Game 2, officiating decisions repeatedly became a focal point. Both teams expressed frustration. Commentators openly questioned several calls. And fans on social media spent much of the evening debating the consistency of the whistle. The numbers alone illustrated the physical nature of the contest. New York was charged with 23 fouls. San Antonio committed 20. The game also featured a technical foul and a flagrant 1 violation. One of the most discussed moments involved Mitchell Robinson and Victor Wembanyama. The two big men became involved in a physical shoving exchange near the basket. Robinson received a technical foul. Wembanyama did not. The decision immediately sparked criticism from broadcasters, who questioned why only one player was penalized. The frustration continued to build as the game progressed. Josh Hart received a flagrant 1 after pulling Devin Vassell's leg during a loose ball sequence. While many agreed with that call, subsequent decisions generated far greater controversy. Several perceived missed fouls left commentators visibly frustrated. A kicked ball violation went uncalled. A potential foul on OG Anunoby was ignored. He hit critical shots. He made smart decisions. He controlled the pace when New York needed stability. Most importantly, he helped guide the Knicks through adversity. The performance served as another reminder of why New York built its championship aspirations around him. Great players are often judged by how they perform when conditions are difficult. With the series now heading to Madison Square Garden, the stakes have never been higher. And if the opening 2 games are any indication, the battle for the championship is only getting started.